All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. There's still networking going on in the other room. My name is Steve Torso. I'm the founder of Wholesale Investor. Welcome, everyone, to our private credit and fund manager evening. Very, very excited for tonight. If you haven't been following us online or in our communications, this is one hell of a period for us over this sort of 2-week period. Last Tuesday, we were in Dubai, where we actually hosted in quite actually bigger room than this, which was just phenomenal for us. One of the fascinating things for me when we go and do these events is that, you know, when we go and host an event in Dubai, you're not expecting people to know who you are, been following you for years and so forth. And that's exactly what happened. You know, it's what I found really interesting was that a lot of the actual European fund managers that we were dealing with that were coming to our events in the UK and in Europe are now actually coming to our events in Dubai. So can one of my team just bring the other people in this side so we can stop the chatter? Clearly keep going. And so basically tonight, you know, for a long time when we've been hosting these events, you know, for the last, I'd say 18 months, I've been talking about how this is the ultimate time that I've seen, you know, for where investors can access high yield, growth, and high growth. Tonight is really focused around high yield and growth. And we're really excited, obviously, for the different managers that we're bringing to you for this. It was about 3 years ago where we noticed that, obviously, with interest rates rising, it was very obvious that it was going to have an impact on innovation. And so to basically facilitate that, we know that we want to provide opportunities that are relevant to you and from a timing perspective that are also quite relevant as well. So in hosting this event and putting on these nights, obviously we want to facilitate that yield and that growth aspect, which has become such a dominant part for investors over this period. So few key things that I'll be going through is that when we're dealing in the innovation space, I've been noticing that a lot of people I've been working with have now also been moved into creating products in the private credit side, but also in the M&A side as well. So we're going to be going through a range of different tonight. Now we've got an extended panel. Unfortunately, Chris got sick, but we're going to have plenty of time for the panel session tonight. So we're happy to sort of, you know, to even do sort of potentially Q&A as well as part of it. And by the way, I do notice that it is warm in the room, so I've asked them to put the air conditioning down 1 to 2 degrees. So hopefully it cools down a little bit as well. But we've got a great panel lined up crossing all the different areas. You know, we talked about in the promotion for this event where we wanted to cover all the areas that UB Cross from a funds management perspective. And that's what we aim to deliver, not just in the featured companies presenting, but also in the panel session as well. So really appreciate, you know, having everyone involved. So just to go through some of the companies we're going to be featuring for tonight. So FarmCap, you know, really excited when I was chatting to Jonathan about it because they're obviously one of the rare providers providing private credit in the agriculture space. And especially given that this time next week, we're going to be hosting an event in Toowoomba, it was perfect timing. So, you know, so Jonathan's going to be presenting then. Obviously, who knows of Pallas Capital so far? Okay, the good portion of you. Obviously, they've done an incredible job getting to sort of 8 billion of funds under management, obviously having Goldman Sachs sort of participating in what they're doing and become probably one of the more sort of go-to places from a private credit space in Australia. So obviously, it's great to have Paul presenting tonight. One of my favorites is also presenting. Who's noticed that I've got a bit of a love of digital assets? Has anyone noticed that over the last period? Yes? Okay. So really, really happy to have one of the actual original Australian digital asset manager, which is Apollo Crypto. You know, previously I've been personally invested into what they were doing, you know, on the crypto side. They're one of the standout managers in the country when it comes to digital assets. Typically, when most people think of crypto, they just think about obviously the growth, the high growth aspects for what it can return. What they're going to be talking tonight is also about what they're doing from a yield perspective. So you're going to definitely enjoy Mark's presentation on that front. We've got Assetora Limited, also being long-term friends of mine. Great to have Darren sort of presenting tonight. You know, obviously they're now a listed company, started out as Bricklet, now a listed company and providing all range of different opportunities for investors to participate in, you know, across their sort of portfolio. And then also, you know, got Dean and the Pengana team here as well. You know, Pengana have obviously been one of the standout managers, you know, across a range of different areas, whether it be private credit, whether it be listed, and also property as well. So very happy to have the Pengana team here tonight as well, and also ASX listed. And then Sean and the Kingsgate team as well. I think many of you, whether you're a fund manager or an investor, they've done their best to get themselves in front of some of the best fund managers globally to provide access for investors to be able to participate in funds that you're normally not able to access to just because of their minimums. So you'll enjoy their presentation. And then also Helen from Unikorn Capital, who's also done a lot of commercial property work and basically built her own investor ecosystem as well at the same time. And I really like her approach in not only do they invest, but then they educate as well about their approach in how they're actually doing it. So we've got a great lineup of presenting opportunities tonight. So the way the night's going to work, we're going to have the presentations from the managers. And then after that, then we're going to have the panel session. And then over to the key part, which you're all specialists in, which is the networking and drinks. So ladies and gentlemen, that is it from me tonight. I'm going to introduce our host, Jay. Enjoy your night.